big show. They both want to be involved, and they are to this point. You mentioned Steven Denchen, son of Gary, has got more laps, but Jason Rupert, I don't think anybody has got more desire than those guys. Can't wait to see how they do right now.
Got some new look on the side of Jason's car as well, the folks at Alliance. Ice, TMS, all helping him with the transition. Is this the way we fire things off? For those of you that may be wondering, if you're new to NHRA, the qualifying order in round number one is based on points. Those that have a lot of points, like, well, let's just say if your name is Robert or Matt, you're going to be back at the back. You get an opportunity to watch the other teams make their runs, potentially learn something, and make last-second adjustments to your car. If you don't have a lot of points, you haven't run a lot of races out here, like, well, Steven or Jason, then you have to go first. Now, for the rest of the weekend, you will earn your spot. If you make a good, clean run here in round number one, you won't have to be first in round number two. Lanes are assigned during qualifying. Once we get into eliminations, lane choice is determined by performance. There is a about 10-minute instructional video that is online. If you check out lvms.com, I think they've reposted it. I came up here a couple of years ago when we were coming here for the first four wide and put together just some of the nuances. And if you're interested in checking that out at some point, take your time. Take a look at that for about 10 minutes. And I do believe our pair has just turned into a solo because they have shut off the Dencham car. And they're pulling it back. That means not only does he miss out on this run, but he also is going to have to be first out next time. So a problem with Steven Dencham. That wasn't bad. 426, 263 miles an hour. Hey, you come up here in the first session for a guy that's running the car on a part-time basis, and really all you want to do is get some kind of a baseline. You want to go out there and learn something that you can potentially build on going forward. Word from the starting line on Steven Dencham's car, no oil pressure. And so they went ahead and clicked that baby off. I mean, they do run Lucas oil in that thing, but even as good as Lucas is, you do not want to send that thing down the racetrack without any oil pressure. Let's go down to Jason Galvin.
Down here on the starting line with Johnny West, who's helping out two different teams this weekend. I feel like you wear like 14 different crew shirts, Johnny. But 426.4 for Jason Rupert out of the box seems pretty good. You guys happy?
Well, we lucked out, really. They're, being the first pair, not really knowing what to expect on this track. Put a hole out right at the hit, and then it picked it back up. He went on down there, so we'll take it and work from there.
Super exciting. Next quad getting ready. I guess there will be 3 machines, but my eyes are on the one over there in lane 4, the Head Incorporated Pronto machine. Blake Alexander, fresh off their final round at the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals. New look, sporting a tribute to Dylan Cromwell. The family is in the house this weekend, and that is just a spectacular machine.
Jeff Deal in lane number 1, the real deal. Over there on the Las Vegas side of the racetrack, lane number 2, Tony Gerardo, JC Calderon. Lane number 3 is supposed to be Bobby Bodie, but apparently they had an issue back in the pits. I know they had the thing unloaded. Looked like they were going to be ready to go early, but they'll have to come back and try it again later on in the day. The good news is, and this goes for Steven Dencham's team as well, there are 4 qualifying sessions this week. That has not been the norm, so losing one maybe isn't quite as severe a penalty as it used to be. And then Blake Alexander for Pronto and Head Contractors and Engineers. Joe mentioned tribute to Dylan Cromwell. For those of you who may not know the story, Dylan, a young man that went through trade school, was chasing his dream of working on a nitro team, has been working with Jim Head's team for a couple of years. And Jim Head called him the most conscientious, hardest working young man that I've ever seen. Unfortunately lost his life in a highway accident on the way here last fall. So they are flying that in memory of a young man that we lost way too soon. We'll never know what Dylan potentially could have accomplished.
That is amazing. And again, the family is here. And Jim Head, tough guy exterior, soft on the inside. Glad to see them make the final.
Well, problems for Alexander. No problem at all for lanes 1 and 2. 4:04. Jeff Deal, 314 miles an hour. Tony Gerardo goes 4.11 at 300 miles an hour. Alexander shuts off to a 5:38 at 134 miles an hour. But for Jeff and for Tony, I got to believe both of them looking pretty good out there. Nice way to start, wouldn't you say, Jason Galvin? Wouldn't you say, Jason Galvin?
Down here with Jason Bunker, Tony Gerardo's car, and you go 4.11 the first run. How's that stack up?
It's all right. It looked like it was running okay, and it dropped the cylinder out down there and shucked it down and shut it off a little early, but it's a good start to the weekend, so we'll take that.
Here comes the replay up on Sunoco Vision, NHRA.tv. See the Head Incorporated machine with a good move down low, but then drives into smoke coming up on the 330. And Jeff Deal, the real deal, and their hot sauce, heating it up on the track here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 4:04.6 and gets it done. And Lisa and Jeff and the whole team down there, that is a good start for Jeff Deal. Putting a number on the board, they'll be able to build upon it. But a very exciting run. And our next quad is just about set up, and for the first time, it's going to be 4 wide.
Lane number 1, Jim Campbell for KGC, Kindness General Construction. The red and white Dodge. Lane number 2, Terry Haddock. Man, that looked like a Pro Stock car breaking in tires. That's a whole lot bigger burnout than you normally see in a nitro machine. Lane number 3, the DHL CMR Toyota of former champion J.R. Todd. And in lane number 4, the Bond Coat. Summit Racing Equipment car, Chad Green, out of Texas. Terry Haddock working with some new sponsors here this weekend. Wanted to give a tip of the cap to the folks at Priority Systems Mechanical. Checklistboards.com and Holt Cat out of Fort Worth, making it possible for him to continue chasing the dream. He did have the funny car and top fuel car both unloaded. I think we're going to see them both running here this weekend. But Terry Haddock has built himself quite a solid operation over there. The other 3 out there, of course, Jim Dunn, Jim Campbell. Jim Dunn's been coming here since the old Stardust Raceway way back in the day. J.R. Todd, the DHL, that's the first of the new Gazoo Racing Toyotas that you're going to see here this weekend. It will not be the last. And for Chad Green, he's got a busy weekend with his kid being involved for the first time in the injected nitro car.
Absolutely. Hunter with a great run in qualifying and top alcohol dragster. Chad coming in off a very strong performance to the semifinals at the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator National. You know he caught the bug, and he's going to be running a lot this year. Good to see Chad evolving, getting better each time down the racetrack.
Crew chiefs walk away. How about it 4 at a time with 12,000 horsepower in each lane? Terry Haddock lost traction immediately. J.R. Todd goes 4:003 to number 1. Chad Green goes 4:04, 292. 4:05 for Jim Campbell, 315 miles an hour. Terry ends up with 11.89 seconds after losing traction at the step. J.R. number 1, Chad number 2. Jason on the starting line.
4:003 for John Oberhofer, one of the crew chiefs down here for J.R. Todd. Great start. You go to the top.
Yeah, that's not going to last. Trust me on that. The track's probably a little bit better than what we thought. We're trying to be conservative because we really stepped on what in Gainesville. So just trying to go A to B and make it good. Work from there.
Take another look at that last 4. You're going to see the car in lane 2. Second to the right up on the screen, that's Terry Haddock. Lost traction almost immediately, but a good, clean run for the other 3 dancing their way through the top end, Joe.
J.R. Todd, one of those racers that excels at the 4 wide, won back-to-back races a couple of years back, and they haven't had the start to 2022 that they would have liked. I think they could break out right here.
I think you're right. They've got some folks here in the house this weekend from Sealmaster, of course, CMR, Construction and Roofing, DHL, and everybody from Toyota. Rolling the next 4 into place. Looks like we've got one of them locked up down on the top end of the racetrack. It should just be a minute. Department. But if you're wondering about who does this or why do they do that, one shout out. Hey, this is for Evan Jonat. Your family misses you and wants you to come home soon, like today, and stay.
Do they really, though?
Yes. Yeah. But shoot me an email and I'll find an answer for you. Now, I don't monitor this in real time, so if you got an issue right now that you need help with, just find one of the many ushers here at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They'll get you pointed in the right direction. As a general rule, I come in the morning and answer all the emails that get sent the day before. But if you got a question or comment, you want to share it, shoot it to me. Alexis DeJoria, how about that? Gazoo Racing, Wild Toyota. For Bandero, Premium Tequila, Rocket Phones in lane number 1. Lane number 2, Bob Tasca. A little different look this weekend. BG Chemicals. If you got a shop, if you work in manufacturing, I guarantee you are familiar with the folks at BG. And they're going to be primary sponsor on Bob's car for 3 events this year. Bob, of course, won this race when we were here 1 year ago. Lane number 3, Tim Wilkerson. For Levi, Ray and Shout. That's Shelby Mustang. Curry Transportation, Diversified Yacht. And over in lane number 4, that's the GOAT, John Forrest. The Blue Death, Peak, Antifreeze and Cool, and Cornwell Tools, the Chevrolet Camaro.
It was right here with the win last year where Bob Tasca really threw it down and said to the world they were going to be a contender for the points championship. They kind of fell off towards the middle of the year, but then came back strong with that Auto Club Finals win. They love to keep it going all year long.
We got 4 of the power players coming at you right here. Alexis, Bob, Tim, John. Alexis loses traction in lane number 1, but the rest of them are pretty good runs. How about a 3.887, 327, and John Forrest goes to the top. 392 for Bob Tasca. Check out the speed, 331.04 miles an hour. Tim Wilkerson goes 397 at 320.97 miles an hour. For those of you that came through the Youth and Education program this morning, how about that Bob Tasca at 331 miles an hour? How about Jason?
Down here with Danny Hood and a 388.7. Wow.
It's good to get the first one in. We've been struggling lately, and at least we'll have something to play with tonight.
A lot to play with there. Do you think that's going to hold up in this session? That's way quicker than we've seen.
Nah, Robert's behind us.
What do you think, Jason? You think it holds up?
Said Robert's behind him. I kind of tend to agree.
What about Matt? You don't have any faith in Matt? You don't have any faith in Ron? You don't have any faith in Cruz?
What do you think, Alan?
I'm asking the questions here. I'm the attorney. You're the witness. You answer.
Overruled. I'm the judge, and I say it's time to move on, guys. John Forrest, Bob Tasca, Tim Wilkerson, 3 cars take over the top 3 spots. That's what this is all about.
That 388 is going to hold. Well, this ought to be fun. How about this? The duck on the pond in this quad has only won 2 championships. And it's not a lone duck, just for the record. The Snap-on Makers and Fixers Edition. Dodge Hellcat Cruz Pedregon with Dylan Barrows. Snap-on Franchisee of the Week on board. Ron Capps, brand new team owner at Ron Capps Motorsports for Napa Auto Parts. Gear Wrench. Down there in lane number 2, he is the reigning champion, the big number 1 on the side of that car. Lane number 3, how about Matt Hagan, the Power Brokers, the new Tony Stewart Racing organization. 2-car effort with Matt and Leah, who will be up in just a bit. And over there in lane number 4, Robert Knight for the Auto Club of Southern California, Blue Def, Cornwell Tools et al. Well, Danny Hood said that won't hold because Robert's behind us. I don't think Robert's the only one you got to worry about, but I also think that 388 was a pretty good run.
Matt Hagan, Robert Height started the season off so strong. Capps obviously the champ from last year. Cruz was in the championship fight down to the wire. 4 best cars we've seen so far this year, all side by side by side by side, 40,000 horsepower. This is what makes 4Y different. An experience like this you can get nowhere else in the world except for Z-Max Drive.
Hands up all the way across. John Collins, crew chief in lane number 1. Guido Antonelli in lane number 2. Dickie Venables in lane number 3. And oh, that Proc Rocket in lane 4. Has anybody got better than an 88, or does John Force get the bonus points? Four at a time. How about a 393, a 394, a 392, and a 4 flat? John Force stays number 1. Robert Height goes 393, 325. Ron Capps goes 392 at 324. Cruz goes 394 at 322. Matt Hagan goes 4 flat at 322. John Force is going to earn the number 1 spot and the bonus points. Bob Task is going to end up in number 2 as we take another look on the NHRA TV Instant Replay. Ron Capps 3rd, Robert Height 4th. Cruz Pedregon number 5, Tim Wilkerson 6, JR 7, Chad Green in the number 8 spot with 1 down and 3 to go. That was a pretty solid quad. And let's see, who called that one?
Let's move on. Like we said, it's time to move on, Alan. Got to move on. No, you called it, Alan Reinhart. You said it would stick. Jason Galvin. He didn't have the courage. He didn't have the courage to say that would hold up or not hold up. He did not voice an opinion. You did.
Yes, he did. He said Robert's behind him. I'm going with that. So he was
yeah,
wrong.
That's right, exactly.
He was wrong.
Definitely
You
wrong.
were wishy-washy. He was wrong.
Overruled. Time
No,
to move on.
No, you don't get to do that.